Thank you all so much for joining our session. We're almost at the top of the hour. We're scheduled to start. We'll wait for a few more people to join us, and then we'll hit the road running. But thanks a lot for joining this early. Much appreciated. To start, we'll wait for a few more people to join us, and then hit the road running. But thanks a lot for joining this early. Much appreciated. To start, we'll wait for a few more people to join us, and then hit the road running. But thanks a lot for joining this early. Much appreciated. I'm hearing some echoes, and I wonder where that's coming from. Does everyone hear those too? Yes, okay, let's sort this out before we begin. Toby? Sounds like it's fixed. Okay. As a way for other people to join, we can begin the networking. These days, everything is virtual, so we can begin the networking part of our engagement today. So we're going to use the chat box a lot today, the comment session. So if each of us could say what our names are, which country or region of the world we're joining from, and what our interests are. Maybe your interest is in investment, your interest is in education, in trade, in law, etc. So we can see where we're connected and then be able to pick up some of these conversations from here. So I'll start, but everyone can just comment in the comment section to see who you are, which country or region you're joining us from, and what your interests are. Yes. There's a message from Ambassador. Well, he says, what an important day to celebrate the achievements of women empowerment through this webinar. Congratulations for the day and for organizing this important event. Best wishes to Team Legacy and to the distinguished speakers. I am with you on that, Ambassador. Conchetta says, hello, happy Women's Day. My name is Conchetta Spitaleri, Italian-based in Belgium, interested in education as access to knowledge. And yes, investors, thank you. Thanks, Conchetta. And hi, everyone. My name is Josephine. I have interests in climate justice, but also understanding further how trade can be used as a vehicle to promote inclusion globally. And I'm excited to moderate the session today. Nice to meet you all. Esther from Michigan She's interested in the future of public education. Thanks for joining. Janine Scott is based in Washington, and you focus on brokering trade and business between the US and Africa. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you. Happy International Women's Day to you too. Ashley Mayhall is from Los Angeles, and she's most interested in education and youth development in terms of equality and empowerment. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you, Alice. Thank you, Janine. Happy International Women's Day to you too. I can see Dr. Renee Allen online. Hello, Dr. Renee, and welcome.
Good morning.
Thank you all so much for joining. I see Terry, Ambassador Pradeep, Betty Reed, Dorcas French, Esther Turner, Faluke Abdul Razak, Grace, Carlton, Lucinia, Nina, Oluwatosin, Peggy, Renee, Stephanie. Thank you all so much for joining. We appreciate your time. Thanks for making out time to attend. We'll wait for a few more minutes for some more people to join, and then we'll get started. This is from Isaac Anderson. He's from Midwest of the United States and from Luther College, but currently studying in Washington, DC. He has interest in environmental justice and conservation, as well as human capital investment. That's exciting, Isaac. That's something we can totally connect over after this session. This is from Alice. I'm Alice Odame from Ghana. I'm joining live from Washington, DC. I'm interested in economic development, specifically in West Africa. Happy International Women's Day. Thanks, Alice. This is from Dr. Renee Allen from Maryland by way of Connecticut, and she's honored to be one of our moderators today. Good day, everyone. Good day, Dr. Renee. From Emily Cranford, she says, Happy International Women's Day. My name is Emily Cranford, and I'm joining from DC. I'm a student at Roanoke, please correct me if I'm wrong, college. I'm studying political science, and I'm interested in climate justice and policy creation. That's very exciting. Kavita says, I need to join in as a panelist. Toby, could you please help sort that out? Thank you. This is from Peggy Morris. She says, I'm Peggy Morris, President Founder of Sisters for Sisters Network, Incorporated, USA, Maryland. Great to meet you, Peggy. Thanks for your presence. Well, I think we can get started, seeing as we have quite a number of people online already. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining this session to talk and interact on international trade, gender equality and trade and diplomacy. My name is Josephine Agbeko. I work as a city advisor with C40 Cities with the city of Accra. So I work in inclusion and equity, and I support the city to embed inclusion and equity in the design of climate change action, in the design of climate change plans, but also in the implementation of climate change action. And I'm excited to moderate this session. We're all excited to have you here as organizers, and we're looking forward to very insightful engagement on how we can position gender, or how we can promote gender equality in trade and investment. We have some powerhouses in our midst who would share with us their experiences, their knowledge, but also help us critique some things that are happening globally when it comes to international trade and investment. This program is proudly organized, has been proudly organized by the Legacy Premier Foundation, which is led by Dr. Remy Gile, a powerhouse herself, and has been supported by the Bowie State University. So far, we've been getting to know each other. We like to call this the SNAP session, where everyone gets to learn more about who else is on the team or who else is on the session. So if you haven't already, kindly let us know who you are, your name, where you're joining us from, and what your interests are. I find these usually helpful because it helps to know who you find alignment with, or who you share similar sectors or industries with, and then you can pick up the conversation from here on LinkedIn, on other virtual platforms. So please share with us who you are. I'll read a couple more. Stephanie says, hello, this is Stephanie Flood, a member of Sisters of Sisters Network. I'm interested in expanding the global community and learning more about how we can help each other. We're all connected. I'm absolutely with you, Stephanie. I believe so too, that we're all connected one way or the other. Stephanie is from Maryland. Olua Toshin says, good day, my name is Olua from Nigeria. Happy to be here. I'm interested in information technology, women development, and youth empowerment. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you, Olua. This is lastly from Renee Clark. She says, hello, my name is Renee Clark, founder of Maryland think tank, Good Trouble. I like that. I came across a lady's book that she launched recently that says Professional Troublemaker. That's the title of the book. And so I see a lot of correlation with that. Renee is interested in empowerment and serving the community. Thank you so much for your service, Renee. This is from Grace. She says, my name is Grace Vanderpoy, a graduate student at the Institute Barcelona Estudis Internacional. I'm interested in social policies and development in Africa. Nice to meet you, Grace. This is Deborah from Ghana. I'm interested in youth development. Glad to be here. Glad to have you, Deborah. I have a trivia before we get into the sessions, the panel sessions, and the keynote speeches. This is it. And because we're talking about international trade, I thought this would be an interesting one for us all. We've all seen the news go around that a glass ceiling breaking, shattering moment when Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala was appointed Director General of the World Trade Organization. And so the trivia question is, prior to her ascension to this role, which other roles does she have, or which other engagements does she have? If you have any answer at all, please pop it in the comment section, and then we'll read it out just to see how much we know and how much we can learn from one another. So yes, before Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala ascended to the role of Director General of the WTO, what other engagements does she have? What other roles does she have? Okay, I see some responses coming in already. Yes, Grace says Minister for Finance in Nigeria. Yes, that's true. Minister of the Gavi Alliance Board, member of the Gavi Alliance Board. Yes. Janine says MD World Bank, Minister for Finance twice, Minister of Foreign Affairs Nigeria. Thank you, Janine. Then she was also on the Mo Ibrahim Foundation board. Yes. Toby, I see Princess Sushan online. I think she wants to be connected with one of the panelists. Please help us out with that. Thank you. Okay, are there any more responses to the trivia? I know that she was on the board of Twitter as well. So that's one to note. And thanks everyone that's joining us now. I see you, Bemi Awani. I see you, Laris Bernard. I see you, Dr. Betty Seltzer. Would get into the session now. As you all know, the International Women's Day has been set aside on the 8th of March. Every 8th of March has been set aside every year to celebrate International Women's Day. And it's a very political celebration, first in recognition of the fact that there's a divide or there's inequality between the genders that there are, and by that recognition, beginning the world also beginning to take action in areas that can support to close this divide or to bridge this gap that there is. And so today, the Legacy Premier Foundation, in collaboration with Bowie State University, thought it's wise to put together this panel on International Women's Day. The official theme by the United Nations is to choose to challenge, and we're choosing to challenge several things, several barriers, several inequalities that are present. At this point, I will call on Dr. Remy Duile, who is the founder and executive director of the Legacy Premier Foundation, to give us the opening remarks for the session. If you can hear me, Dr. Duile, you're on.
I can hear you loud and clear. Thank you so very much, Josephine, and welcome to everyone. Welcome everyone to the Legacy Premier Foundation and Bowie State University International Women's Day event and celebration. We're so grateful to have this body of esteemed women from all over the globe joining us here today to speak on various issues. We welcome our he for she around the world. We know there's a man in the house. We welcome you. We're taking on the international theme of this year, choose to challenge, on as meaning that a challenge world is an alert world. Individually, we are all responsible for our own thoughts and actions. All day, every day, we can all choose to challenge and call out gender biases and inequality in all shapes and sizes. We can all choose to seek out and celebrate women's achievements. Collectively, we can all help celebrate, create an inclusive world in which women cannot engage in and make decisions, but create spaces where we can grow, excel, and have power and ability to invest in other women to do the same. We are shining onto the giving way to the next generation of future women leaders. From challenge comes change. So let's all choose to challenge. As a successful leader and woman working in business, I'm a strong believer that confidence is key. The true key to success is making sure your opinions and ideas are heard and being confident in your vision for what you want to achieve. In a field predominantly populated by men, women can defy the stereotype of what an engineer looks like by showcasing their expertise and taking a leadership role in implementing cutting-edge tools and processes. Early on in my career, I realized that I needed to focus on my skills and ability to communicate effectively in order to gain the trust and respect of my colleagues and clients. In other words, confidence and speaking skills are key to success, and it was to my success. From challenge comes change, and when you pledge to make change happen, speak up and speak up with confidence. Virtually all women have dealt with similar situations in workplace, whether they are young professionals working on a group project or a female CEO of Fortune 500 company. As women, we must advocate for the work we have done and take credit where credit is due. 2021 has already seen so much history being made by women, from Kamala Harris, our Madam Vice President, being the first woman and African American to be elected and sworn in as Vice President of the United States, as well as worldwide, Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, chosen as Director General of the World Trade Organization as the first African and woman. Madam C.J. Walker, an African American entrepreneur, philanthropist, and political and social activist, recorded as the first female self-made millionaire in America in the Guinness Book of World Records. And the list goes on. She promoted female talent at a time when jobs for Black women were incredibly limited. Additionally, she funded scholarships for women at the Tuskegee Institute and donated many of her earnings to the NAACP. How cool is that? The Black YMCA and dozens of other organizations supporting Black history. And I know a lot of you on the call right now do just that. Well done. As we try to emulate Madam C.J. Walker's legacy by promoting intergenerational collaboration, this event stresses the importance of succession and leadership by women of any age and demographic. As much as it is important to elevate voices of women in power right now, like we are here, it is vital to encourage the young girl with notebooks filled with dreams and aspirations as well. As I close, I want to ask you, what do you stand for? I stand for equality, inclusion, and justice. It was once said, if you do not stand for something, you will fall for anything. To all my fine, great women out there, happy International Women's Day. May God richly bless us. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Aduile, for this thought-provoking trip down memory lane and for reminding us of all the really great work that has been done in the past and why we shouldn't relent in our efforts to take away all forms of inequality we see in the world of business, in our families, in society, just so we're creating an even playing field for all. Thank you so much for that. And thanks for the challenge to stand for something, because indeed, if you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. And at this juncture, I'd like to, I have a humble appeal. The theme for this year's International Women's Day celebration is to choose to challenge, and I want to challenge each of us all here to challenge something. What do you choose to challenge? And so if we could each sort of take a pledge and say what we choose to challenge. But first of all, let's just post in the comment section what we choose to challenge. I choose to challenge patriarchal systems in my local community. So I'm going to post that there. What do you choose to challenge?
Well, thank you, Josephine, for that. I think I choose to challenge institutional racism and existing neocolonialism on the African continent. So that's it for me. I will now take the chance to introduce our first keynote speaker of the day, and that is Princess Mrs. Sarah Shosan. Princess Mrs. Sarah Shosan is a trained professional teacher and educational administrator. She's an alumna of the University of Lagos, Akoka. Her teaching career spanned over 30 years as a youth corper, classroom teacher, inspector of education and educational administrator. As a deputy governor of Lagos State between 2007 and 2011, she was entrusted with the supervision of the education sector in Lagos State. She is a recipient of the National Award of Officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, which is also known as OFR, for her reforms and giant strides in educational development at the state and national levels. She's an alumna of IESE Business School in Barcelona and Harvard Kennedy School of Boston, both for executive education and continued self-development. She's a fellow of the Institute of Management and council member of Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry. In her private endeavors after public service, she established GFR Educational Services Limited, which carries out consultancy and self-development programs. Through this platform, she gives back to the nation her vast experience as an educationist of over 3 decades. She established the Sarah Adebisi Shosan Foundation in 2015 to empower women, girls, and the youth to be independent in society and to live a healthy lifestyle. Her political ideology stands on politics without violence and service to the people. This she expresses in many of her public speaking engagements and advocacy for good governance, equity, and gender equality. She's a great motivational leader, passionate and committed to the development and overall growth of the individual and, of course, the woman. So thank you. I will hand it over to you, Princess Mrs. Sarah Shosan.
Can you please unmute me?
No, you want to share.
I want to share my screen, please. Can you please, can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me, yes. And I would like to share my screen. I have my slides that I would like to share. I'm speaking to my slides. Is that possible? Can I share my screen?
Yes,
it's not possible.
You can
share your slide.
Yes, that's possible. You can share your screen from your yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Let me first and foremost say congratulations to all women, young ladies, and our E for she, the men that have always been there for women. And you know, most of these men, we are their mothers, we are their sisters, we are wives, and so many other roles. So they don't have any other thing but to always give us the support. Today is an international day for women, but to me, every day is for women. Every day is for the celebration of women. When we consider the roles we play in our different workplaces, in our families, and many other sectors in the society. We are in a world today that has given a lot of question and reflection to many people and many of us, especially we women. I've been given the topic from my dear Dr. Remi Duile, who invited me to be the keynote speaker today to speak on today's topic, which is rise, restore, shine, and be limitless. I want to go back to a few things about what the pandemic, we are all aware of what the implications of the pandemic all over the world. In the United States of America, in the European countries, and most especially in Africa, where I belong to, and where I'm located. Yes, the pandemic has different implications upon us. It has thrown many people out of jobs. Many homes have witnessed violence, especially women, because of the lockdown. Many children have suffered from the lockdown. Many have gone through mental health problems, effect on their mental in different ways. Even me, at a certain point, the mental pressure on me got the better part of me that I need to now reach out to friends. I need to now find solutions to how do I cope with this lockdown. That normally I travel, I go out to functions, social events, I attend programs of progress, but now I'm locked up in my home. So what do I do? This topic is very apt today. We are going through that world of implications of the pandemic. And as a result, we need to find solutions to what is happening to us. So what do we do? Especially this pandemic effect on women has been so major, especially as women have suffered so much, even in the past. Over the years, as we celebrate women, many topics have always covered on women, equality, injustice, put an end to violence, and so on and so forth. But yet, women have suffered so much. The literacy level of women is about 67%. Violence all over the world, over 13 million women have suffered violence. What about woman trafficking? Young girls of 6 years, 5 years are trafficked all over the world. Exposure to education is something that many countries are still yet to come to terms with, given the girl-child education. What about child marriages? It's all over the world. You see small girls being involved in marriage before 18. Women have suffered a lot concerning property and inheritance rights. That is quite experienced in my country here. So women's rights has always been an issue over the years. And these are things we should look into even as the year progresses and as we as women, we progress in the society. When we look at the pandemic effect on women, we realize that majority of the healthcare workers on the front are women. We have the doctors, we have the nurses, we have the medical laboratory, we have many of them working in the laboratories, and they are exposed to the virus. And in most instances, many could not even go back home to live with their family. Then the burden of unpaid care work is also so much on women. Many women, they take care of their children, their elderly relatives. They take care of their husbands and everything, and they are not paid for this. We have the financial fragility and poverty resulting from women being limited to some professional areas that they feel are for women. The misconception in professions, stereotyping in professions. Women are limited in most professions. But thank God these days, our girls are breaking the grounds. Our girls are raising up their shoulders that no more, that we are equal to the task. looking at even the impact of reallocation of resources for COVID-19 on women's health, it is not adequate. Maternal health, reproductive health, and other epidemics that impact women, we don't get commensurate attention for what we put in. I've mentioned cases of domestic violence being so high during this pandemic. And in many cases, when women voice out all these problems, the mic is turned down. We hear, put the mic off. We hear it's not happening to you only. So many instances of this. So we go back to the topic today. What do we do? Do we accept this as a continuous issue, as a continuous, as a revolving thing for women? I want to say no. What do we do as women? The topic for this year, choose to challenge. How do we choose to challenge this? How do we choose to challenge this? We do this by rising now. How do we rise? We rise up from the effects of what the pandemic has had on many people. We rise up from the marginalization that many of we women have been exposed to. We rise up from not having access to education that many women still are exposed to. We have to rise up from this. Even the mental health issues that the pandemic has brought upon many of us, we have to rise up from it. So we have to now sit, reflect, how do I overcome this? How do I realign myself to what is happening in the world? How do I come to terms with the effects of what this pandemic has brought upon me, upon us, especially as women? How do we do this? For me, I want to say, most of the things we learned in the past, we have to unlearn them. We are used to being put down in most cases. We have to put this at our back now. No more. We have to identify, our executive director, Dr. Duyili, mentioned about developing ourselves in relevant skills. So we have to identify that which skills am I to learn now to make me to be at par with the other gender. What skills am I lacking? What are the mentors I want to look up to? What are the role models I want to look up to? We have many, I'm still coming to that, especially female world leaders that we now have. We now rise to re-engage ourselves and reconnect with people around us. We should not isolate ourselves. We should learn from others around us. We should learn to involve ourselves in the communities around us. No one is an island. It's when we now learn to reconnect with people, with communities and issues around us, that we overcome many of these problems that have besetted us, not only as a woman, but even with other genders as well. We have to exploit technology. Thank God for this day now. I never knew anything about Zoom possibilities, but the pandemic now has opened a lot of, has opened up Zoom to every nook and corner. It has brought up learning, hybrid learning, where some children go to school and sometimes they go online too. It has brought in a new things, and we say new normal. So how do we realign ourselves to all this? We have to rise to all this and take advantage of technology. Where we don't have a knowledge of any, this is the time, because most of us work from home now. So we need to work from home and learn skills that will help us to be inclusive within the society, to be able to have a voice and get a rise back as women. Most times when we apply for posts, they say, woman, can you do this? Yes. In most cases, I say, don't say because I'm a woman, you are offering me a position. Look at me that I'm capable of this position. Look at me that I have relevant qualifications. I have skills good for this job. So that is what I want our girls as well to learn. That for anything you want to go out there, be confident of yourself to go out there for it. We have a duty now as a person within the global space to do our best, not to be put down, to have a voice. Whatever you feel is not being done well, have a voice to speak out. Have a voice to speak for other women. Have a voice to be part of the recovery plan for COVID-19. It's a thing for each and every one of us, for every woman, for every man. And we should not allow to be stepped aside or to be robbed off of what we are supposed to do. When we rise up to do all this, then we have to restore. We restore everything that is lost. How do we restore things that have been lost? How do we regain lost grounds? How do we regain lost opportunities? How do we regain things that we wanted to do for year 2020 that we have not been able to do? The opportunities are there. Yes, we are working from home. Yes, we are doing online education. Yes, many women cannot do what they can do fully, but even with that, we should get back our thinking cap. What can I do? Today, many ladies, they've turned millionaires in my own palace as a Nigerian. Many ladies have been able to key in into opportunities this pandemic has brought up. They have been able to make so much money. And I think this is what we have to do to restore ourselves. How can I key to the opportunities in the economy, especially with the effect of this pandemic? There are many areas. Many can write from home. You can write about people's experiences. You can organize Zoom webinars. You can do a lot of things. You can share with friends, have networking facilities that you can share with people, other people's experience, so that we can learn. You can even organize social events that make you to restore back what you enjoy doing, restore back your economic power, restore back all the things you've not been able to do in the past years. Thank God for women, many leaders today. Dr. Duele mentioned some of them. I'm proud to be a woman, and I'm sure many of the young ladies on this platform at this meeting this afternoon, you are very proud of all our women, especially those women leaders, of what they've been able to do during this pandemic. You will see the Taiwan president, how she's able to minimize the pandemic effects in our country. The world youngest leader, the Finland Prime Minister, and all powerful women across the world. I remember the Australian woman, what she has been able to do as well. It shows the power of a woman. It shows the resilience of a woman. It shows the capacity and the gifts that God has given unto woman to be able to manage things. And that is the kind of capacity and ability I'm enjoining our young ladies to imbibe, to be able to shine, and to be able to cross the borders, to break the grounds, to be limitless When they say you can't do this, you prove that you can do it. Thank God there are many women all over the
Reminder,
world.
Your Excellency. I'm sorry, we just have about 2 minutes, so we can
Thank
run
you
on to
very
the
much.
next
I'm just
session.
rounding up. Yes, thank you very much. And I want to add to say that all human beings, we are born free and we are equal in dignity and our rights. My young ladies and all women on this platform and our men, because we need the support of all the men. Let's make the world be a very peaceful and conducive place for each and every one of us to live. The last, we had an outbreak of young ladies in charge of the October 20 Speak Out, Speak Loud that happened in Nigeria. Young ladies were the one that pioneered, that managed the fund and everything. Ladies of integrity. And our ladies, I think this is what I expect you to imbibe as values, integrity, and be able to stand firm with your self-confidence and everything that makes you that woman of uniqueness, that woman that cannot be said, that cannot be pushed aside. Once again, I congratulate each and every one of us on this day, and let us celebrate ourselves every day. We are women, and we are. Thank you very much. God bless you all.
Thank you too so much, Her Excellency Princess Mrs. Sushan, for this August speech, but also the reminder of the need for community, the reminder of the need for taking action wherever we find ourselves. Because of time, please post your questions if you have them on our platform. We'll move straight into the next session, which is a first panel discussion. And then at the end, we'll take all the questions together. The panel discussion we have now is on the theme, Women, Equality and Inclusion as a Catalyst for International Trade and Investment. And our panelists for this session are Dr. Kavita Kapoor, of the Bowie State University, Conchetta Spitaleri of Willow Thrive, and Arshi Ayub Mohammed Zaveri of Trust with Trade Group. I invite our panelists on for this session, and if our panelists would kindly introduce themselves to us. I'll start with you, Dr. Kapoor.
Good morning, and first of all, best wishes to all of us on this International Women's Day, and congratulations to all of us for having this fantastic get-together where so many of us who have been women with careers are getting together to look at important topics. About myself, I am an assistant professor here at the university, at Bowie State University in College of Business. I have lived in many countries and worked in different countries, including India, Cambodia, Nepal, Chile, and now United States. My career has spanned from being an executive to a woman entrepreneur, to be a teacher, to be a mentor. And I'm looking forward to this exciting discussion today on how can we include women, and what is the future of inclusion of women in international trade and business, and how can they be catalysts. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Kapoor. I'll invite Arshi on now. Please introduce yourself to us. And if you could, in addition to the introduction, just give us your remarks on this topic we have right now, women equality and inclusion as a catalyst to international trade. What is your take on that?
Much for having me here. I have to applaud Dr. Remy and all her wonderful efforts to get together this incredible lineup of speakers and participants. Thank you so much, Dr. Remy. Secondly, I'd like to wish everybody an International Women's Day. It's wonderful to accumulate and be a part of the inspiring remarks that Princess has just given. Very, very insightful and empowering. Thank you very much, Princess, for those remarks. I spearhead the Trust with Trade organization in the UAE that primarily is into manufacturing activities in the oil and gas sector, into waste management, and also into the heavy mining. Additionally, I am also an advisor to all family offices in the UAE, in the capacity of, from an investment standpoint, and also for strategic associations with international partners. very, very close. I think most women and men today are very cognizant of the fact that equality and inclusion are important aspects for the growth and progress of any nation, any community, any organization at large. Fortunately, the UAE has been way, way ahead than most other Arab nations and most other Western countries when it comes to real display. And if I may say, real evidence. And a testament to that would be that the UAE cabinet comprises of 9 women ministers out of 32, much higher than most nations. I think the UK is the only one which is ahead of the UAE in terms of the federal representation. 66% of the UAE government workforce is female. And more importantly, we see so many benefits that are upcoming for more and more women to be inspired and take positions in leadership, and also to indulge into entrepreneurial ventures. So very important that we start making these things more mainstream from a very, very nascent stage itself. When we start inspiring young girls and women at large to be able to take up ventures that possibly are male dominated, I think most people presume that most sectors are male dominated unless you really get into that and figure that. I think traditionally every sector is, because we've never really looked at a sector to be male or female. Most sectors are known to be male dominated, and very important to know that when I started my career, there were technically no women in oil and gas, and we suddenly see an augmented curve for women that are coming into positions in the oil and gas sector. And also up until today, I don't see a lot of women in waste management. So how can we include more and more women? I think it is the conditioning, it is the societal conditioning that needs to change, where we start stereotyping a specific sector into being male or female. And very importantly, that we start teaching our young girls and boys that we don't have to categorize or compartmentalize a specific sector. It is open to everybody, it is open to all, and there's absolutely no harm for women to take up positions in these sectors. So the moment we are teaching these kind of specific attributes to our younger population, the youth, which is going to be our present and our future,
Hello, Ashi.
that's when we can drive real change. So
hello, Ashi.
Hello.
Yes, there seems to be some echo in your background. It goes and it's undulating. If you could position either your microphone.
Am I audible now?
I think it's better now, yes.
Yeah, I will not take too long and give you all my best wishes for the rest of the panel. I think we have an incredible lineup. Very dear friend Conchetta also will be looking forward to her viewpoint. And very, very importantly, please remember that we are in this together. It's only a collective, collaborative approach that can really help us solve all the underlying issues that we face as society, men and women both. And very important to make sure that we as women make the contribution of men much more appreciated, much more mainstream, and much more spoken of. So thank you very much, and I look forward to the rest of the panel. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your opening remarks on this. I think these are very salient points that you raised. Promoting collaborative approach or collaborative network. I'm always preaching systems thinking and systems work, so these are all included. I'll now go to Conchetta Spitaleri, and please correct me if I am not pronouncing your name rightly. Yeah, kindly tell us about you, who you are, and what's your initial thoughts on the topic of women equality, gender equality and inclusion as a catalyst to international trade and investment.
Yes, I will be very short, but you have pronounced my name very well. So my name is Conchetta Spitaleri, I'm Italian, and I live in Belgium, Brussels, so it's good to see all these fantastic people. Sorry, I'm a little bit tired today. I've been moderating and sharing good energy with all women around the world since this morning. So it's just a passion to see that we really are all together on platform just to share knowledge and to really build something together, get stronger. So yeah, my experience, just very, very briefly, because it's more about you today than me. I've had more than 15 years experience at vice president in big companies where it was already a challenge as a woman to prove myself, because of course it's not easy. I mean, it's, when you are in top management functions, we have to say it's just dominated by men. So my motto was already at that stage was really to prove to myself, of course, that I could not be as good as men, but even better. So I wanted to be in discussions with them and just share my views, but understanding also my role as a woman, understanding also like men function, and of course, try to make sure that I was always essential in what I was doing, and there was not this thinking about she's a woman, she's going to have maybe children one day, she's not going to be there, she's not going to perform. That's not, I did all my best, and I really thought I did my best, just not to allow this force to take place. So my motto has always been to really to fight and to give always the best of myself, which is by learning every day. I started by doing a sponsoring PR and relation. That was pretty easy, seeing my let's say my talent in speaking with people, in approaching people. But I also created CSR, corporate social responsibility, in a company of 17,000 people, which was led by men predominantly. Of course, the top management were just men, on a subject you can imagine 10 years ago, which was not as essential it is today. So not only I had to convince the management, not only I had to build the team from scratch, but also wanted really to build this function with, with meaning, always doing things meaningful. So I said, okay, since the very beginning, we're not going to do some greenwashing, which is, having CO2 not being monitored, but just compensating by some greenwashing. So that was really my fight, and it took me just 2 years just to build the team. And yeah, just 1 year and a half, one and a half year before the target that I was given, I was granted a very good grade from auditors. Like British Telecom and France Telecom, also for Belgium. So very, very proud of this. But again, it was very, very tough, and it was just restless every day to work with people and just to give the best of ourselves. So my message, really, my first message is that, yeah, it's really a lot based on merit, no matter the gender. Yes.
Thank you for sharing this. This is a question in my list of questions I have for you that relates specifically to this, but I want to go to Dr. Kapur first. I listened in on a session this morning with Dr. Okonjo Iweala, where she said trade is for people, which I agree perfectly with. And I believe the question now moving forward would be, how do we begin to bring in people who are typically marginalized, or women in this case, because we're focused on women? How do we begin to bring in women who are marginalized into the discourse or the action of promoting trade? What are your thoughts on that? You're muted.
Sorry, yeah, I was on mute. I think that a couple of points I have, I've been thinking about this topic. One is that we need to understand it's not only that women is one of the large chunk of stakeholders in any organization. We are not only employees or CEOs. We also are customers. We are also our financiers. We are also our policymakers, right? So let's understand that we need to have women in the ecosystem, and there are women in the ecosystem. So how are we going to leverage that, right? So the minute you look at it, it'll make perfect sense for you to include women because they are your stakeholders in every way, right? Secondly, there is no dearth of opportunities today. I think that all boards all over the world have recognized the fact that including women in international trade and business will be a catalyst to growth. If you look at the McKinsey report, it says you'll increase trade by 12 trillion if you just include women in international business, right? If you look at what's happening now with the International Trade Center, where there are she trades, so there are various platforms that are coming up in the United States. That's where I'm residing right now, so I'm talking about it. If you look at my country where I come from in India, you have even company, it was way back in 2013 that the law board and the Companies Act said that there got to be at least one woman director in every corporation that's publicly listed. So what I'm saying here is that opportunities are there. Policy is coming along, is there and is coming along. We now have a president of WTO that's a woman. So it's now, I think the issue is how are we as women going to leverage it? We don't have to wait for opportunities. We have to create the opportunities. There's got to be a little bit shift in our mindset here. Okay, so, and each one of us in this panel discussion today has probably gone through similar experiences. And how did we do that? By having faith in ourselves and going forward. And the second point I want to make is we are in a world where we are talking of abundance. We have to take our mindset away from the scarcity to abundance. So that's the second principle that I feel will leverage. And the third, what's critical today is peace. What's critical today is cooperation. What's critical today is collaboration. Pandemic has shown us that we live in an interdependent world. Okay. And this interdependent world has all genders in it. Okay. So that already has set a stage, and technology is here to empower us. So if we just keep on leveraging these four things, policy, opportunity, like from technology, interdependence, and women, and understanding women as stakeholders in every aspect, I think we have a good roadmap, or I should say a good model for moving on forward. There are organizations which, I mean, you just have to Google it. Women in business, networking for women, and there are already organizations doing that. But more emphasis on governance, more emphasis on policy will take this a little bit forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Kapoor, on this roadmap that you've set on policy, on collaboration, on interdependence, working together, but also on networking, identifying who the key players are in the industry. I'll come to you now, Conchetta. How do you think, Dr. Kapoor mentioned that if we include women, there's a whole about 12 trillion dollars that we can take advantage of. In your opinion, from your experience, how can we begin to bring in more women to ensure that we're taking advantage, or we are leveraging these opportunities that are created?
I think we should give by giving tools from the early age. I really think that the best way to have more women on board is just to start from the education, really from the very beginning. You know, it's really to get rid of this, this just stereotype. A boy plays with cars, and then the girl plays with the Barbie. So yeah, I mean, there are really studies that make, that we just need to give the opportunity to our children when they are children. If they have, they're more lean on finance, they're more lean on figures, either just creativity or drawing, like, which is normally done for men. Yeah, we are already have opened so many possibilities. Okay, the little girl is already being shown that she can be good at high-tech. She can be good at figures, because it's promoted, it's fostered, it's not just banned. And the same for men. So when we start from there, really from the very scratch, and the access to the knowledge, then of course all the doors are open, and women of course are already, they know that they can have access, that there is no limitations, and there are no barriers. I really insist on that, because for me, this is where it starts. It all starts from there, from really giving the right tools at the early stages. I am not persuaded that today we need to include women more, because there is a need in figures. I'm sorry, I will be very open with you on the platform, so please allow me to be very open. I don't think that we need to just employ women because we need to fill a gap. We need to employ women because they have the talent, because they have the right access to fit in that position and because they deserve this. This is super, super important. And we need to give this conviction to females from when they are very, very young. This is my
Thank you so much. Yes, thank you so much, Conchetta, for sharing that. Someone asked earlier, what's the roadmap Dr. Kapoor shared? I picked up that networking is useful, that we should leverage opportunity. First, try to create opportunities when we can, but also leverage different opportunities that exist. But more paramount is the essence of policy or governance in creating this road or creating this track that we can all work on, but also interdependence and understanding that we can work together for collective outcomes or collective aims. I have a question on diversity. I find that, and this is true, women are not a monolithic group of people. There are different types of women. How do we then leverage this diversity within the women gender to take advantage of opportunities, etc.? I'll start with you, Conchetta, now.
Absolutely. Well, I think that what we're really doing today, it's another example. You know, we need to focus on priorities. We need all to work together on very precise objectives, and then just act upon them. It's good to share. It's good to have advocacy. It's good to share the knowledge. But what is much more important is, of course, that we really work on very actionable steps. This is super, super important. Then act on what we want to do and really on facts. So this is really what I'm trying with my NPO to do this, to really try to have all these beautiful women on board and men. And by working together, this is the only way to get to something which is positive and concrete. I mean, it's really by working together on specific subjects. Mine, for instance, I think is really, as I said in the chat, is the access to education. For me, is paramount. We are having very serious discussion with a company which is, by the way, Belgian-based. They have been developing the programs for reducing the digital gap in Africa. They've done the East and Est, and they're now tackling the South. And it's just fantastic to see that there is only one way, of course, to reducing the digital gap, and that give access to everyone, boys and girls, to the education and to the knowledge. Because once you have access to this, you can build a future. You can really start building your dreams and say, okay, I can make it. And it's not very easy to bring the technical bandwidth, in some rural areas. So they invented some vans with the hardware. And with the hardware, you see these beautiful children getting on the van and then opening the PC, and you can just see their smile. And they just say, wow, you see, for us is just normal to be spending maybe 10 hours on our PC, for them is just a dream that starts. And once they have access to the knowledge, they can just build the future. And once they can build the future, us as leaders, we can help them, of course, build their future and their dreams.
These are so profound. The way you share that education is paramount, education is the basis of it all when we start debunking the stereotypes that exist. I have a last question, and this is for both of you. I'll start from Dr. Kapoor. We want to learn from your experiences. How have you managed as women in your diverse fields to go beyond expectation, to keep progressing and get to the stage that you currently are? Please share with us 2 major things that you've had to do in your careers or your lives to drive you this far in your careers.
Well, at the time that I joined my career, I used to be probably in many meetings the only woman when we would have our regional meetings. That I used to work in a progressive American company called Xerox. And I'm not talking many years back, I'm talking 30 years back. Now you look from there till today, there is already a sea change in attitude and opportunities. So how I reached there and how I went forward, I think one is the biggest thing has been my own mindset, right? I never look at myself as disadvantaged. I never look at myself as minority. I never look at self as having limitations. I look at myself as having strengths. And that's what I appeal to all women, that take away that lens that the world is putting on you. Look at it from your eyes, right? If you do not think yourself as a minority, nobody can, right? So that's one very important thing. Second is, there are challenges, and this is not as easy as I'm talking. There are challenges, there are limitations, but we are as women, we know how to deal with it. Women ask me in meetings, doctor, how do you teach? How do you talk? How do you deal with conflicts? Come on, we deal with conflicts in our homes. People ask me, how do you get yourself through when there are women, men in the room and you're the only woman? Don't we know how to deal with people in our own families? I'm saying women are having strengths and actually are being groomed from childhood how to leverage their strengths. And that is a blessing for us. That's not a limitation to us. And being a woman gives you that extra sensitivity, that extra, capacity and competence, that you can actually go and deal with a situation with your limited resources. Just leverage it. Don't worry about competition. Look at beyond competition. And that's how I am. That's how I have gone so far in whatever capacity. I mean, in Chile, I was an Asian. I was probably been the only Asian in that country that got a Women Empowerment Award. And if I look back, I didn't do anything extraordinary. I was just being myself, authentic, honest, and not looking at myself with the limitations that the world was looking at me with. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing, Dr. Kapoor. Look beyond the competition. Conchetta, in 1 minute, could you tell us, in your experience, how you've managed to overcome some structural barriers that you faced in your way as a businesswoman?
Okay, just maybe very, very briefly, a short funny story. When I was 7 or 8 years old, living in Italy, where I was born, I was watching TV. And then I saw, that the presenters, the Italian presenters, they could not speak a word of English. So when the celebrities came on the, to visit, well, they just couldn't interact. So I said, this is the job for me. I need to learn languages, because if I speak languages, I can then enter in the culture of who is speaking with me, with the interlocutor. So this is super, super important. I think I was so young, and then I understood immediately that that was where I had to go to just grow, by all means. So I learned 5 and I speak 3 every day. That's number 1. And number 2 is when I decided after my 15 years at the executive level to just abandon everything and become my own boss. I can tell you, it seems easy, but it's not, because even though it was very challenging, it's a comfort. It is in a frame. You know that at the end of the month, you receive your wage. When you're your own boss and you're an entrepreneur where there is no certainty anymore. I mean, certainty doesn't exist. You just need to reinvent yourself every time, every second, adapt constantly. There is no vacation, there is nothing, but that's, if we are leaders and if we are entrepreneurs, this is what we're made for. And this is today, even though, it's tougher, it has made of me the woman I am and then happy one.
Thank you so much, you both, for sharing on this topic of gender equality and inclusion as a catalyst for international trade and development. Thanks for sharing your experiences and your powerhouse knowledge. We have some questions in our chat box, and I'll invite Emily, if you can hear me. We have 5 minutes for question and answer. So Emily, if you're here, apologies in advance that we can answer all the questions. We can answer just a couple, and then maybe you can direct the rest to
Ashley, not Emily.
Ashley, okay. Sorry, Ashley, if you can hear me, yes, please take over, and then we'll continue to the break and sponsorship session.
Thank you, Josephine. Thank you so much to our first panelists for such an incredible discussion on capitalizing on growing equality as a means of towards success for an international scale and trade and investment for women. So we're going to do a quick short Q&A. I think we have time for about 3 to 5 questions, and I'll ask them in the order they were received. So Sharon in the Q&A says, as a small business owner, I'm concerned for my sisters and their hard-earned investments. Can you please share any specific ongoing financial, oh, it just disappeared. I think it was about financial strategies for women-owned businesses during COVID.
Okay. I can take that one if you want, it's up to you. Absolutely. Okay, well, I can just talk about my own business. So I've been introduced by my super sister, Dr. Remy, as being the founder of my NPO called Willow Tribe, but I am also the founder of a company which is specialized in long-lasting floral art, which is pretty nice. It's flowers and greens and plants which don't age, and they're 100% organic. They don't need any water, and they don't need any care. So pretty interesting. So with the COVID, of course, everything was put on hold because you can imagine, I mean, flower arrangements are absolutely not a need. So my business was made, on custom with B2B, more luxury brands. So I had to reinvent absolutely everything. So I think that the only thing to do is that to reinvent, try to see if you can go online. If there is a way of going online, that's really try to adapt to some very specific needs that try to survive while waiting, of course, that this pandemic is maybe not over, but just more to a balanced level. And this is really what I did. I was only on B2B, and then I invested on B2C online. And also what I did is go develop my brand in other parts of the world where there was a bigger need. So I developed my brand in the Gulf countries, which of course was not in my agenda just before the pandemic. So open all the doors and go where there is a need, because there are needs, yes.
Thank you. This is a question specifically for Dr. Kapoor. The U.S. has a policy to award 5% of company procurement to female SMEs. Do you believe that this is progressing fast enough internationally?
All I have to say is that there are not such rules in India too. We have a lot of such, goals. The question here is, are we ticking numbers or are we actually having an impact? So that's the problem that we have with diversity too. So how many numbers of women-owned businesses? So how many numbers of women directors? But that's not going to literally lead to the inclusion. I think we need to start focusing on the quality part of it. And I see a comment here from some colleagues of mine, from Dr. Bailey and also from Dr. Dayo. So just having a position as a woman in the SME, how are we going to leverage that to have more women or grow more businesses or have further or to interact with other stakeholders which are women? So bringing that conclusion bringing in inclusion is what we are looking for. We can, and let me say, if I have tomorrow a program like this one, okay, we are having a program where we want to attract all genders, or we want to attract women, then it's not about how many women attended. It is about what are we going to do to make sure that more women will attend. So that's what we need to do, and focus on being inclusive, which has an impact rather than numbers and diversity numbers. Thank you.
Thank you. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have. I wish we had time for more questions, but
Ashley, can you give me a chance to just say two things real quickly?
Of course.
This is Remy. I wanted to also add my 2 cents. I'm not on the panelists, but so forgive me. I wanted to also say and buttress what they have said. Don't just think of of things that you do as networking. Think of it as relationship. There are levels of things that you need to do to get to a level that you can call a network, a relationship. When you get serious about your networking to the extent that in your heart, you're looking for a relationship, you will get the results, because then you would attract the right people. Then pivoting from one level to the other, will not be a problem. I just wanted to throw that out there so that we don't use that loose word of networking and think that's it. You can be in a networking setting and be lonely, but you want to make your networking access relational, relatable, so that you can give what you expect and build together so that you walk as true sisters, since we're talking about Women's Day, or true people who can trust one another. Thank you. Thank you, Ashley. Sorry for butting in.
Of course. Thank you for sharing that. We're going to take a brief break to let all of this provoking information settle in and watch some video clips from our two main sponsors to thank them for all their support and making this event come to life. While we're taking this break, we would really appreciate anyone to click on the donation link that I'm about to send in the chat window to help support more events and activities like this that are coming up this year and beyond, definitely. I'm also going to send out a second link to take a look at our newest program with Legacy Premier Foundation that is specifically dedicated to coaching women entrepreneurs in developing better business strategies. So the first clip we're going to be showing is from Bowie State University, and we are so grateful to partner with this exceptional university and look forward to continued collaboration on more projects in the future. If our technician could please play it now. Thank you.
Thanks, Emily.
It begins in your soul. It moves you, empowers you. It comes from shared knowledge, from community. Bold is born at Bowie State University. It's how we prepare students to break barriers and change the world. It's an affordable, world-class education focused on nurturing those ready to take charge. So bring your bold. Visit Bowie State University today, on campus or online. Bowie State University. Taking tomorrow boldly.
Awesome, thank you. We also want to show appreciation for everyone who works with Legacy Premier Foundation with this next video and to celebrate all the projects, events, and campaigns that this team has helped accomplish alongside Dr. Remy. While we wait,
our technician is taking a, sorry, you go, Ashley.
I was just going to say, while we wait, we definitely want to show appreciation to and extend all our gratitude to all our other sponsors who have continuously showed support for the Legacy Premier Foundation and have definitely elevated our efforts through their immense generosity.
Toby, our technician, is still working to get the video on. So maybe Ashley would move on to the next session. And then after that, we'll see the video, the Legacy Premier Foundation video, if that's okay.
Definitely. I'm going to pass it on to Miss Emily to introduce the next keynote speaker. Thank you so much to everyone who has joined us today from all over the world. So yeah, take it away.
Thanks, actually. As we listen to the second keynote speaker, if you have any questions or comments, please don't forget to post them in the comment section. Our team will be monitoring these and we'll try to answer some of the questions as much as possible at the end of that session. So yeah, quick reminder. Okay. Please go, Emily.
I'll be introducing the next keynote speaker. Ms. Janine Scott has enjoyed a long-standing career of over 35 years in the field of international development, focused uniquely on the African continent and spanning the private, nonprofit, multilateral agency, and U.S. government sectors, domestically and globally. Presently, she is the founder and principal of America to Africa Consulting LLC, focusing on brokering sound trade and investment linkages between companies in the USA and the African continent. In addition to A2A, Ms. Scott is a director in Petrol Africa LLC and its affiliates, a diversified provider of oil field supply and services, and a co-founder and managing principal in Mine Africa LLC, which facilitates investment in the mining and related sectors. Ms. Scott previous tenures include President of the U.S. Angola Chamber of Commerce, the oldest bilateral chamber that promotes trade and investment between the U.S. and Angola, Senior Vice President of AfriCare, formerly the oldest and largest African-American NGO, uniquely focused on executing economic development and humanitarian programs across the continent of Africa, advisor and alternative U.S. Executive Director to the Board of the African Development Bank Group, as well as earlier staff positions with both the AFDB and AfriCare. A seasoned professional in the field of humanitarian and economic development work, Ms. Scott has been called to serve on a number of high-level working groups, including UNHCR, as the co-chair of the Interaction Working Group on Refugee and Humanitarian Issues, the Center of Global Development, the African First Ladies Leadership Summits, among others. She served twice on President Obama's campaign African policy advisory committees. Ms. Scott serves on a number of boards, notably including chairman of the Board of Constituency for Africa, Howard University Law School, World Food Law Institute Advisory Board, African Growth and Opportunity Act, Civil Society Network Advisor Board, and the African Union Pan-African Diaspora Women's Association Board. She is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations and the Africa Policy Group. Ms. Scott holds an AB degree from Vassar College in Political Science and Africana Studies and a master's degree in International Relations from Yale University. She has also studied at the National Defense University, the Institute of Development Studies, the Sorbonne University of Paris, the Institute of European Studies, and the University of Dakar. I will now be passing things over so that she can begin her speech.
Should I start now?
Yes.
Okay, well, good morning, afternoon, evening to you all, wherever you are in the globe today. And again, happy International Women's Day. First, let me thank my sister Remy for her continued good efforts throughout the years to uplift women, to promote women's involvement in trade and investment, and for being an exemplary role model in all that she does. Her legacy, Premier Foundation, is a testament to her convictions and good works. So thank you again, Remy, and to your team. It really is a pleasure for me to be with you this morning to share my thoughts on the changing face, perceptions, and reality about the role of and opportunities for women to engage in international business, with a particular focus on trade and investment with the African continent, which, as you know, is the area where I've focused for several decades. The face of business is changing. Generally, we could say that regionally, Africa is home to 6 or 7 of the 10 fastest growing economies in the world. It has the second largest, most populous continent in the world, with just over 1.4 billion people. Over half of this population is young, under the age of 25, and rapidly urbanizing in many countries. There's also a growing middle class. It's growing at a significant rate in a number of countries. Africa is home to some of the world's most valuable and abundant natural resources. And of course, women are truly, in my opinion, one of its most valuable resources. Women represent the largest group of growing entrepreneurs in Africa, ranging from the informal sector operators to manufacturing, mining, agro-processing, fintech, and many more sectors. The rise and vibrancy of women on the continent is a true force that can no longer be overlooked or discounted. Now we know that foreign direct investment in Africa has dramatically increased in the past 2 decades. 2018 figures, which last I looked, were about 46 billion through foreign investors. And then by 2017, that had grown by 11%. And compare that to 20 years ago when we only had just under 3 billion that had been invested. So we have estimates that are seriously trending upwards, exceeding the 50 billion mark. And it includes investments in natural resources, basic infrastructure, and other areas. And it also reflects the changing perceptions of Africa that fly in the face of the traditional view that Africa is fraught with political and economic risk. Now, this also presents a world of opportunities for those ready and willing to engage, especially those of us from the African diaspora in the United States of America. And of course, this includes many women. Indeed, there is much the diaspora is in position to do, whether speaking of the historic or the more recently immigrated descendants of the African continent. There are a variety of levels of investment opportunities that range from small and medium scale enterprises or SMEs. This includes seed capital, early stage investments, big ticket private sector equity activity, extension or expansion capital, and other buyouts. These opportunities can be harnessed by individuals with skills and backgrounds as diverse as economics, agronomy, finance, engineering, medical professions, IT, and others. And today, I feel as though we're entering a new, more positive era, particularly as it relates to trade and investment between the US and the African continent. We're entering a time where diversity and inclusion is becoming more and more relevant in multiple spheres around the globe, and women are stepping in and stepping up as never before. The African diaspora in America, especially its women, has a significant role to play and contributions to make to trade, investment, and economic development in Africa. Now, generally speaking, there are about 15 million African Americans combined with over 2 million African immigrants and other Afro descendants in the US. We're in all walks of life: medicine, commerce, finance, industry, politics, engineers, education, labor, sports, and others. We've made and continue to make tremendous contributions to the continued growth and development at home and abroad. We transfer more resources than official development assistance levels combined. And we are rich in culture, resources, technology, and know-how. And we work to ensure a brighter day for all of our children. With regard to women, many of us in the diaspora are working for change to positively impact millions of lives, to empower women through promoting economic growth and income generating opportunities, combating poverty, hunger, disease, lack of shelter, fighting unfair trade regimes, promoting gender equality, access to education, and environmental sustainability. We are promoting the development of human capital, infrastructure, natural capital, increased technological sophistication, and trade. We know that such efforts are needed to avoid such traps as capital flight, brain drain, declining terms of trade, but our unity and strengthened partnerships is fundamental to effectively harness these efforts. Examples of who we are, our levels and areas of involvement abound. But I was asked also to shed a bit of light on how the new Biden-Harris administration may help to leverage the role of women, especially in trade and development. So I'll just start from the pinnacle of power of those who make US policy. And it's interesting that Dr. Kapoor spoke at length about the role of governance and policy in that environment that we will be working in. So starting at the top, the Biden-Harris administration understands the importance of engaging more actively and deeply with the African continent. And the administration is working concertedly to elevate a number of experienced and talented women, including many of African descent, to shape and pursue this engagement. This begins, of course, with the fact that our new vice president is the Honorable Kamala Harris, who is of both African and South Asian descent. And in her, we have a friend, but we have someone who also identifies with the history, the culture, the promise, and the destiny of Africa. This is similarly true of a veteran diplomat in Ambassador Linda Thomas Greenfield, who now serves as the US Ambassador to the United Nations and as a member of the President's Cabinet. She has served in the trenches and is a true advocate for women's economic engagement. At the White House, we have seen the appointment of Dana Banks and Linda Itim, who respectively serve as National Security Directors for Africa and for Humanitarian Affairs, and both are special advisors to the US President. And the Vice President has a freshly appointed National Security Advisor on Africa, Ms. Jessica Ba. All of the mentioned women happen to be of African descent, and they also possess years of experience in the field. The State Department will imminently see the confirmation of veteran diplomat Wendy Sherman as Deputy Secretary of State and has already onboarded Jeanette Yarbrough as Senior Advisor and Akuna Cook as Deputy Assistant Secretary, both in the Africa Bureau. And USAID has also confirmed Ms. Makani Tugara as Senior Advisor in the Africa Bureau. Our new trade representative is Catherine Tai, and our Assistant Trade Representative for Africa remains the veteran Constance Hamilton. Commerce Secretary is also a woman, Gina Raimondo. And though not a member of the US administration, it is of great significance that Dr. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has just ascended to the position of Director General of the World Trade Organization with full support of the Biden administration. Now, I went through this group of women because there is a networking and a sisterhood, if you will, that comes into play when you're speaking about issues of policy. It's no longer the old boys network. There is a network of people with whom we have access to and with whom we have inputs into as we try to look at how to better engage with women, structure programs and policies that will better impact us moving forward. So what I say is that we must strategically engage with these individuals in their offices, especially as it relates to enhancing US-Africa policy and engagement with the African continent in trade, investment, and beyond. How do I think women can leverage these relationships with the Biden-Harris administration and work together to enhance trade and investment, especially between the US and Africa? A few thoughts which come from the time that I spent working on the campaign with the Africa Diaspora Steering Committee. I'll offer a few of them here to note. In the past, under the Obama administration, we had the annual US-Africa Leaders Conference or Summit. This saw direct interaction among policy leaders, business leaders, civil society leaders. I think we need to ask.
Janine, sorry, we've got about 6 minutes for your session, if that's okay. Yeah.
Okay, so that was one, to institutionalize the annual US-Africa Leaders Summit. And I think that looking at leveraging that to how to work together in partnership to grow jobs, fuel economic development, strengthen relationships, and a specific women's agenda or initiative can be put forth in this regard. Again, enhance trade and investment mechanisms for two-way trade. We have the Africa Growth and Opportunity Act, which has over 20 years of existence, and we also have AWEP, the African Women's Entrepreneurial Program. These are initiatives that focus specifically on bringing US products and diversifying the supply chain and actors within the global supply chain and market linkages. And I think we need to work on how to strengthen those. We talked about creating a platform for minority and small business partnerships. And this would be, again, involving the U.S. Commerce Department, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, the U.S. Minority Business Development Agency, the Small Business Agency. All of these do have quota that have been stated in terms of involving women, but I think we need to engage more deeply and to look at how we can further have impact with the programs that they have in place or put new programs in place. An investment vehicle should be created to catalyze mid-sized businesses, etc. All of the above have or can envisage women-focused initiatives and opportunities. The Biden-Harris administration, I think, does intend to engage deeply with the African and the African-American diaspora to tap into more ideas and propositions that will lead to further strengthening. And again, that's where that network is important. Let me go. So yes, we have voice, we have access to the circles of influence and resources, and we have our heritage, but we need to build together to capitalize on the synergies and resources that we have. We have to build human capital, knowledge, technology. We have to bring finance, and we need to do more capacity building. Let me see. I'll just close with two short quotes. One is one that I like. It's a traditional African saying that says, "I am because we are, and since we are, therefore I am." And another I came across from a friend who's also one of the most dynamic African-American entrepreneurs that I know. She's been living and working in South Africa with women for over 30 years. And it's, imagine if we could find the most talented young people, women, connect them in a global community and provide them with lifelong opportunities to spark transformational change. And that's RISE. And I say that in light of us talking about Rise, Restore, and Shine today. So with that, if there are any questions, I'm happy to field them for you.
I didn't see any questions on Facebook or YouTube, and then I don't see any questions in the main chat, and the Q&A questions seem to be from before this speech, so.
Okay. I don't see any questions either. Thanks, Emily. I don't see any questions either. So I think we'll move to our next session, which is a video. While Toby gets ready, thank you so much, Janine, for sharing these this information with us. Some things that sometimes would be at our blind spot, but also making us more aware of the opportunities that exist and how we can tap into them and build on a networking abilities, networking opportunities. So thank you so much for making time to be here and for honoring this invitation and for speaking with us. Toby, if we're ready, we'll move to, yes, see this.
Hi, my name is Dr. Remy Duyele, the founder and executive director of Legacy Premier Foundation, a 501c3 situated in the state of Maryland, United States. We are passionate about developing young leaders, entrepreneurs, and women, and we've done this for several years. We're coming to you and asking for your time, your treasure, and your talent to be part of this movement. We've done so much in the community. We believe that to whom much is given, much is expected. So we're counting on your support, your sphere of influence, your access to ensure that we put smiles in the lives of young leaders because they are our future, they are our now. We're starting a mentorship program which focuses on young leaders ages 18 through 25, where we will impact on them physically. They will be in classroom for a 6-series mentorship program where they will be assigned mentors. And these mentors are supposed to be for 6 months. But guess what? If we do it right, I've seen mentors that started with me for 1 month and they've been my mentor for life. This is about developing our young leaders, empowering our women, community building, financial literacy. And we're taking them not just in the classroom, so our young leaders can start knowing and understanding that whatever they want to be is not limited to the United States of America, that they are global thinkers. Please join us. Let's make the world a better place.
Thank you so much, Toby, for showing us this video. And it was great to hear from you, Dr. Dile, on the work of the Legacy Premier Foundation and the projects you have in the works. I look forward to engaging further on these as well. We have a second panel discussion now on the topic, Powerful Strategies for Global Success as a Woman. I'm already excited about that. This panel discussion is going to be moderated by Dr. Renee Allen. Now, Dr. Allen is a radio and TV personality and an advocate for human decency at the People's MC. She's an extraordinary commentator for all occasions and is the founder and CEO of Star Entertainment Group, LLC. She's the inaugural host of News Channel 8 television show, Women's Business Sport, and featured in the second edition of Who's Who in Black Washington, DC, as one of the Women of Excellence. Dr. Allen is an internationally known best-selling author, and she's written the book Rebel Rising, and is a co-author of 5 collaborative book projects. As Vice President of Media Global Health Solutions, she's in partnership with the United Nations. Dr. Allen is a historian and secretary of Sisters for Sisters Network. Wow, this is really impressive. She's a highly decorated 22-year retired veteran in the US Navy, where she served during the Grenada invasion and Desert Shield. Dr. Allen served on the prestigious President of the United States METU Mayo Clinic team for Presidents Ronald Reagan and George Bush. She has a son and is committed to helping him and many others of all ages realize their potential and ultimately find their passion and reach their goals. Dr. Allen, if you can hear me, the floor is yours for the panel discussion.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening from wherever you're tuning in from, wonderful ladies, and I see a few gentlemen. Thank you so much, Josephine, and thank you so much, Dr. Duhale of the Legacy Premier Foundation, for having this platform for all of us to collaborate and partner. And I'm so excited. So let's start with the Rise, Restore, and Shine, No Limits. This powerful strategies for global success as a woman. So I want to introduce the ladies. These are 4 extraordinary women. I mean, experts in their field, and these human beings educate, empower, inspire, edify women around the globe. So let's get started. First, we have Peggy Morris, founder and president of Sisters for Sisters Network. And we'll go to the next one. Deborah Nixon, educator, president, National Coalition 100 Black Women, Prince George's County. Past advisor to Dr. Leon Sullivan's African American Summit. Then we have, okay, now Joseph, I may need help with these as you did earlier, Funmilola Oganibobo from Bowie State University. Dr. Remy said to call you Lola. And then we have Dr. Tamara Ajolakras. I'm not sure, but she is the Goodwill Ambassador, United States, and CEO of PayRem. Let's take 2 minutes each, ladies, just to tell everyone about you. And we'll start with Peggy Morris.
Hi, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I guess we're still moving in time. Hi, I'm Peggy Morris. I am the president and founder of Sisters for Sisters Network Incorporated here in Maryland, in the United States. I'm just honored to be on the platform. We can talk about sisterhood all day long. I'm here. Thank you, Renee.
Thank you so much. And next we have Deborah Nixon.
Hello, everyone. Happy International Women's Day. I'm Deborah Nixon. I'm serving currently as president of the National Coalition of 100 Black Women in Prince George's County. I have a love for recognizing the power of our diaspora, and thank the Legacy Premier Foundation for this particular program that helps in that capacity building and shaping of not only the financial networks, but the kind of information that I think ladies and people of the diaspora can use to help us build from within. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And next we have Femilola Aleni Bobo. Is that right?
Hello. The actual name is Femilola Olani Bobo. Or just go by short, Lola. It's okay. It's a long name. I understand. Hello, everyone. My name is Femilola Olani Bobo, and I am a graduate student at Bowie State University, and I'm currently doing my MBA, which is Master's in Business Administration. And I am so excited for this gathering. And thank you, Ms. Remy.
Thank you so much. And I'll say thank you for Dr. Remy as well. And last we have Dr. Tamara Lagras. Is that correct?
Yes, kind of. You can say Alkalagasi. So yes, hello everyone. I'm really glad to be between all of you today in this event where we're looking for advancing women, making the woman more powerful through sharing our experiences. I would like to thank Dr. Remy for organizing such an event with other parties, and thanks for Premier Legacy Foundation. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And I'd like to say before we get started, because I love women as well, I'm representing not only Sisters for Sisters Network as an officer, historian, and official MC, but also as the executive director for Nia Imani Choices. So I just wanted to say that, give them a little shout out. Ladies, I want to start off with a question for all of you to answer. And it is, with current events ever changing, the landscape of possibilities for women like Kamala Harris being elected as the first female vice president, how does this moment in history shape the power of women and how you see yourself? We'll start with Peggy Morris.
What a powerful statement, Renee. Let's go back to that particular day when she was honored. And I'm talking about our new vice president. I think she and all of us could say she set the standard for all of us. Not here in Maryland, not here in Washington, D.C., not here in the United States, but around the world. She brings class, she brings energy, she brings the tools to the table. And I think that's, we all can agree, that's what we all need. We need that energy to keep us moving in the right direction. We already know we have the power. We have the power to do any and everything, but we can get relaxed. We can get very comfortable, but I think that we will all agree that the power is within, and that we must continue to look to women like our vice president to keep us in check, to keep us in movement, to keep us inspired to continue to move to the next level. I can go on and on and on and talk about the leadership that is coming in our space. We need that energy. We need that power that she brings to the table. And it's our time to love up on her. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I can't help but think when you said movement, always dancing.
Yes.
That tells you a lot about her spirit. Thank you so much, Peggy Morris.
Sure, thank you.
Deborah Nixon, do you need me to repeat the question?
No, I'm just going to take two parts of that. One, I'm going to call it shaping the power of women, and two, the creating empowered environments. I think it's women often place a barrier in front of ourselves, and that barrier is a 5-letter word called doubt. And I think when we recognize the perfection that God has made within us and dare to trust that when we vision, when we plan, when we see ourselves in a different place than we currently are settled, and recognize that where we are is not where we have to remain. And we dare to vision for ourselves that is greater than our initial possibilities and proceed to plan to get there. I think we never lose hope. And Ms. Kamala Harris, our vice president, is a beacon of hope. She often cites her parentage and their struggle, and recognizing that through that struggle was uplift for she and her sister. And so she too is a beacon of that possibility. And for every brown child in the world, brown and yellow child in the world, and I'm going to dare say for every woman in the world, she is that beacon of possibilities, and her reaching the first vice presidency for these United States signals that there is an environment where anything is possible for us as ladies, for us as women, for us as minorities. And I think when we grasp what I will call the conquest of fear, which is the biggest barrier in all of our careers, and we step across that line that dares to say, I can, I invite you to all create that environment of I can.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Everyone say, I can. That's important to have the self-affirmations. I love that. And not being stuck, not staying where you are. Thank you so much, Deborah Nixon. Next, we have Miss Lola.
Thank you. So I'm going to put this on a student perspective. Looking at Vice President Kamala Harris, so I get to go deeper to what she actually did. And one of our goals was when she was a student, she go by doing internships, and I'm speaking to students right now. Don't limit yourself. I'm currently doing my MBA, and during my undergraduate, I see some students dropping out and like, okay, I can't do this. I can't. You should never have that mindset of I cannot do something. There is no limit to what you can achieve. So this is speaking to a lady. Don't let, no matter what is the thing, go for whatever you want to do. Pursue that goal. And it doesn't even matter if you're Black or whatever race you can. And that's speaking Kamala Harris. We can also, she's mixed. So it's not a specific race. So, you also have to believe that you're here to change the world. I don't know where that mindset came from, but from my high school, I always have that mindset. I'm here to change the world. I'm here to change the world. I go further for what I want to do. I create my own success. I ask questions. All my professors literally know me from undergrad. I want to know you deeper. I want to see, okay, how did you achieve this? How did you be a professor? What did you do? What are your obstacles? So I can learn from it and go ahead and I want to break barriers. I want to prove to people that this is possible. And that's the mistake a lot of people are having. I know there's so many challenges, like there could be financial challenges. There could be so many things you can think of because this is a big world. But what have you thought to yourself? What did you tell yourself? Okay, in 5 years from now, in 2 months from now, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So another point I want to go further is keep pushing, always seek knowledge. So I'm also going back to what Kamala Harris did, because I actually did like a deep research on her to see, okay, how did she do this at this age? What did she do? And she was like, she started an internship at a law firm. She didn't even know it was gonna be for the state of California. Like, they picked her. So a lot of students, when you apply for internship, you're gonna get a no. During my undergrad, I started working for Wells Fargo Bank. And when I got in, I didn't even believe I was gonna get in because I was international. I was new to the city. There was so many barriers. And my professor called me, they're like, how did you do it? And to me, I was like, I just keep applying. They deny me over 10 times, but I never give up. So I'm just gonna put this to the pause and so we can go on to the, thank you.
Woo, never give up. You said that about 5 times. Amazing, thank you so much. And last but not least, we have Dr. Tamara, is it Achaleshas?
It's Alkalagasi.
Is that Greek?
No, Turkish.
Turkish. Well, thank you. I'm so sorry I'm messing up your name, but you make it all up with your beauty. So thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. So thank you. And thank you everybody for being here again today. Me, Dr. Tamara Alkalagasi from United States of America. I'm delighted to be with all the women today to share our experiences and to give the woman push in the world. So I would start by, I want to be brief for the time, but I'm going to say that I'm holding many positions, from Goodwill and Peace Ambassador to President of many development organization, to the Vice President of American International Education Federation, CEO of PARAM. So what I want to say out of this, even for President for the American Group, and from investment to media to development, as a software engineer professor as well. So I've been facing so many challenges in my life to achieve all my goals. But of course, being consistent, insisting to achieve your goals is the main and most important element to make whatever you're looking for happening. So according to my experience, out of my experience, I would like to share with you whatever I can see better for the woman and the situation for the woman to change the world, to change our world to the better place for the woman, to empower women in general, and to start the whole process where we can find the woman more in power in the right track. So I would start by elaborating about gender equality. It's a human right, but our world faces a persistent gap in access to opportunities and decision-making power for women and men. Globally, women have fewer opportunities for economic participation than men, less access to basic and higher education, greater health and safety risks, and less political representation. Women's health education and safety is another important area. It's becoming an increasingly impactful issue for women. Giving them opportunities to reach their full potential is critical not only for attaining gender equality, but also for meeting a wide range of international development goals. Gender equality means the men and women have equal power and equal opportunities for financial independence, education, and personal development. Women empowerment is a critical aspect for achieving gender equality. It includes increasing a woman's sense of self-worth, her decision-making power, her access to opportunities and resources, her power and control over her own life, inside and outside the home, and her ability to affect changes. We all know what the pandemic COVID-19 did in the whole world. So countries around the world are working to contain the spread and impact of COVID-19. But evidence from the past indicates that women can be affected in particular ways, and in some areas face more negative impacts than men. Women stand to lose the most during the coronavirus pandemic, but steps can be taken to ensure that women's role in the economy and in all industries can be made stronger during the recovery phase. Economic challenges during the outbreak pose a serious threat to all women's work and business activities and expose them to increased risk of exploitation and abuse. The UN Sustainable Development has set 17 goals to transform our world by 2030. You know, 2030 is going to be the new agenda for the whole world. Goal number 5 is to achieve gender equality and empower women and girls. The tech field is one of the most important targets here. Women in tech fully support the United Nations Sustainable Development Objectives by contributing to 5 of the 17 goals. We will discuss today the role of innovations and technology and economy and all the issues for the women empowerment. The United Nations stated that the whole world needs to focus on developing markets for innovations that advance gender equality, integrating gender issues within innovation, promoting women as innovators and entrepreneurs, and investing directly in technology-driven innovative solutions that meet the needs of women and girls.
Yes,
Besides, building market awareness, investment, and industry-wide action to grow all the economy market and advances gender equality and empowerment for women. So I tried out of my experience to elaborate and shed the light on the most important where women really need to be on a track and start to be empowered in our world. And I tried also developing the tools and methodologies with industry partners to take gender responsive approach for innovation, economic promoting women in innovators and entrepreneurs and investing in technologies. So I tried, to be really in a brief, but it's a lot. We can talk days and days to empower women. But at the end, yes, I'm really glad today being between all of you to share our experiences and to shaping our future. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you so much, Dr. Tamara. It was so much information. It was so awesome. I didn't want to
Dr. Renee?
Yes.
Just a quick reminder that we have about 7 minutes for the panel discussion.
Yes, I understand. And ladies, only take about 1 minute when I ask you the question so everyone can get in. We don't have a lot of time, but there's so much great information all of you are sharing. Maybe I'll go with my last question in case we run out of time, but please be cognizant of 1 minute each. As a leader, has it been the most significant, what has been the most significant barrier in your career, and what is your advice to female leaders watching us right now and for years to come? And let's start with Peggy Morris.
Well, that's a good one. I was sitting here thinking barriers. For me personally, I would say the only barrier that I can relate to is not having enough time. Time is time, and time can get away from you. We want to do so much in our community and to empower women. I cannot say no more than if I could have just a little bit more time to do this, to make a difference in my community. That's the only barrier that I could really come up with at this time.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Deborah Nixon.
Thank you. For me, I think the biggest barrier has been what I call the conquest of fear. And I can remember the first panic attack I ever had going into a management meeting and knowing that this is a new program, this is something new we're implementing. Half the people in this room are supportive and the other half aren't. Whew. And I had to stop and take that deep breath and remind myself, why are you doing this? And I remembered that there was a vision. We set a vision. We identified a plan. We dared to implement. We dared to identify the core resources that you need to be successful and dared to go after them. And then proceeded to take my best self into that meeting and went over at least another 2/3 of those folks that were sitting on the fence. So the conquest of fear and recognizing that there will be detractors that you will have in this world. So you don't need to be one for yourself, because there'll be enough external detractors to distract you from your mission. And always remind yourself of what you stand for, so that when you know what your principal center is, the rest of the world will know also by virtue of your actions.
Beautiful.
And I love the comments that Dr. Al-Khalagasi made regarding gender equity. She was right on point, because half the time discrimination comes in the form of disrespecting your personhood as a woman, and doubting your abilities because you're a woman. And for me, as a brown African Black woman, the first thing people see is my color when I walk into that room, and that cannot be negated. But we have to know who we are when we walk into the room.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much. Miss Lola.
Hi. So to me, what I would advise is seek knowledge. So no matter where you enter, no matter what you do, when you have the right knowledge, the right information, it's just boldness that just come into you. Like, you can literally speak, you can say whatever, like, because you know the right thing, you've already done research. But another thing on how to get that is, according to what Miss Remy said, is networking. So not just networking, but creating relationship. So if I feel like, okay, I want to be like you, for instance, I'm going to create a bond, a network that's going to create a deeper relationship, that even without asking you, you can just tell me, hey, Lola, so while I was in this grade or while I was doing this, I made this mistake for not seeking this, for not researching this. So make sure you don't do that. Make sure you don't do this. So I feel like when you create networking, and it gives you that room to have knowledge. So you get knowledge from people that you're looking up to and things you can actually achieve from there. So I truly believe when you have knowledge, you can go into anywhere, you can break barriers. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, Dr. Tamara did cover that in her words. So what I would say is to end, and we have run out of time. So to end, I would like to start with Dr. Tamara and just summarize in a minute or less what this means to you globally as far as the Commerce for landscape in the global world.
Well, I would say in 1 minute, we need really to work on all the barriers for women. The first one is the global gender gap. If we really break this is a very, very important point here. We need really to work on that. Men should support, women should work. We need all to come to one platform, start working together, put hands together, and start working for making better network at this point. If there is no gap, then we are able to shape this network and start working on all the strategies to make the woman more powerful. I was really brief.
That is so true. And thank you so much for everything that you covered. You covered a lot of stuff, which was very helpful. Miss Lola?
Yes.
Yes.
Just in general. So I know I didn't mention this earlier, but Happy International Day, Happy International Women's Day. So, and I also want to just, for every woman listening, you are strong, you are intelligent, we multitask, you can break barriers. No matter what you're going through, believe you can handle this. And if you need knowledge, every speaker in here can help you. They've been through so many things and they can advise you. Always seek knowledge. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Deborah Nixon?
Life is short, but it's wide. And as we work toward the connectivity, building on the strengths of the connectivity of our diaspora, never doubt the power that is within our diaspora when we decide we want to do this. I think the world has so often attempted to break us apart, as opposed to recognizing and encouraging us to recognize our strengths when we unite. And breaking the global gender gap that prevents women from a quality education, kidnaps them to keep them from growing in the strength of an education, or throws up economic empowerment barriers to keep you from growing, period. I think that we have to refute and refuse the stigma of slavery for us as Africans in America who experienced slavery, and recognize our still unified power. And when we come together, it's like the Black Wall Streets that existed in Durham, North Carolina, and in other places. We can. Thank you, Dr. Remy. Happy International Women's Day.
Thank you so much, Deborah Nixon. And it is all about connecting and connecting a bridge to Africa. And so lastly, we'll hear from Peggy Morris.
You know, I failed to make it a point to really thank Dr. Remy Duyele. I'm so proud that she is part of us, a representation of all women around the world. I applaud you, my sister. You have always been a front to show the love and the support of all of us, no matter where you are. And, you know, we have to take a moment just to thank technology. If we did not have the technology, we could not have this conversation today. And so I'm so honored, so blessed. And not only to say that, today is International Women's Day, but it's every day, 24/7. We must talk this talk and walk the walk. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And ladies, all four of you were fabulous and phenomenal. Thank you so much. I'm wearing my beads that I actually received in Ghana about 7 years ago when I went there with Sisters for Sisters Network with Peggy Morris. I love Africa. I love women. I love all of you. And when I get excited, I say, bam, boom, pat-out. Thank you so much. Happy International Women's Day. Thank you, Remy.
Yeah.
Back to you.
Thank you. All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Allen, and the panelists for this very engaging session. I've learned so much. I don't know what to say anymore. There are so many learning points that came up. Always pursue knowledge, leverage technology, be cognizant of inequality. I thought that was really profound. Be cognizant of inequality, but move beyond it. Dare to challenge, dare to move forward, dare to challenge. And I also like the fact that there's a call to move together. There's a call for movement building and combining our strengths with other women in our spheres and moving together. I believe that's one of the ways that we can push forward even further than we currently are. On this note of challenge, I would like to present us all with this challenge. If we could each let's bring back our cameras. Those who don't have their cameras on, please turn on your cameras if that's okay with you. And then let's pledge, choose to challenge something. I choose to challenge patriarchal systems. You choose to challenge, then you say what it is. And then Toby would help us take a screenshot of the screen. So I choose to challenge patriarchal systems. You can say what it is that you're choosing to challenge. Moving on. Okay.
I choose to challenge social justice.
Thank you so much for sharing, Dr. Duyele. And thanks for indulging me, all of you. Toby, I know that you had some polls to engage us briefly before we get to the closing session. If you could bring that on now, that'd be great.
Okay, so for the participants, you can just go to the polls and there's some questions to fill just to get our insights and opinions on several general topics as it relates to women globally. So you could just take maybe a minute, like very few questions. So you could just go to the polls, see if you can answer them just to get our opinions on these subjects. Thank you.
Has it been shared already, Toby?
Yeah, it's just at the bottom of the screen. You see the polls icon there. Just at the bottom of your screen. You see the polls icon there. Does anyone see it?
No, I don't see it from my end.
Okay. All right, please continue. I'll just work on that.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Should we wait a while, Toby?
No, you can go on, please. I will get on that now.
Okay, all right. Well, you work on that. Thank you all so much for your presence, your participation in this event. My name is Josephine Agbeko, and it was an honor really to moderate this session. I will call on Dr. Remy Duyile, founder of Legacy Premier Foundation, to give us her closing remarks for the end of the session. Thank you.
Wow. My closing remarks. Do I have any remarks? You guys rock. That's my closing remarks. Honestly, so super grateful to my team. All of you have been amazing. There is no event without each and every one of you. Toby, Emily, Ashley, Josephine, Alice, Isaac, Ashley, Emily. Did I mention that? And all of you that I haven't even mentioned, I'm so super excited. I'm thankful to all that you have done. I'm thankful to all the speakers. You guys are amazing. The moderators, the panelists. You have taught us a whole lot. I have learned so much today, and I was enjoying every moment of it. Thank you so very much. Big shout out to BSU, Bowie State University. We could not have done this without you. Thank you so very much for believing in us and for keying into the vision and allowing us to leverage your big name. I want to say thank you to all of you. We do have things that are coming up. We have a Colossus coaching program that we're going to share the link. So if you're interested in that, please go ahead and join in. We're only taking 15 people for 3 months. We ask that you fill it out. I'm not one of the interviewers, so if you get in, you get in. It's not in my hands. I only get to meet you when you're in, so I can't influence anything. So please complete that if you're interested, and let's see who we get in. It starts in April, it's for 3 months, and we're gonna continue to work with all of you collaboratively in a relational way, not just networking, and adding value and also having you add value as we focus on working intergenerationally. That's our passion at Legacy Premier Foundation. We believe in succession leadership, and that's what we've just displayed today, and you guys rock. So I can just sit back and sip coffee. Thank you so much. God bless you. Okay, Toby, I think you have something up here for us that I'm looking at. Says, what color do you wear? It's purple. Okay.
Toby, is that the poll?
Yes.
Yeah, those are the poll
Okay.
questions.
So what do we do?
Just pick it as some sort of icebreaker just to calm the nerves after.
Get the answer and then go. Awesome. We also have a survey just to get your feedback on your experience with the event so we can better serve you. If that survey can also be directed to the attendees so we can hear back from you and what went well and what you would like to see differently. Thank you all very much. God bless you. And sorry we went 19 minutes late. It was for a good reason. Thank you. Oh, I didn't mention Toby's name. Toby, I didn't mention your name when I mentioned everybody. Toby coordinates all of this stuff. I knew I was going to forget a name. I don't know why I just came. So we say thank you to you, Toby. You rock.
Great job, Toby. Are we done with the polls?
I think we have some answers still coming in.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you give it a minute more for everyone to do that.
Almost finished.
thank you all so much once again for your presence and participation, and sincere apologies that we went about 20 minutes over time.
Yeah, we're done with the polling, so you can go on now.
Okay, all right. Yes, thank you all so much. We can get connected on social media, Josephine Agdeko. You find me on LinkedIn especially, and I'll be happy to connect after this event with all of you. But also you can connect with the Legacy Premier Foundation and the networks that have been discussed through this session. All right. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
All right, thank you. All right. Happy International Women's Day, everybody. Go and
Thank you, and same to you.
Stay fabulous, everyone. Stay fabulous. We rock, women rock. That's who we are.
Hey, Remy, I would dare to say we rock, and we're thankful for all the men and our families that support us in all that we do.
Absolutely. Madam President, you couldn't have said it better for the
It takes the village.
Our men rock. Thanks for our spouses who are supportive, our male friends who are supportive. We appreciate you all. Without you, we are not. So we are together. Thank you, Madam President, as always.
God bless.
All right,
This was beautiful.
The event is over. Toby, you want to give us some music so everybody can, while everybody checks out and get about their day? Thank you very much. And you will hear from us again.
Thank you, ladies of this panel. Y'all were awesome.
And so were you.
Powerhouses, absolutely. I enjoyed each and every one of you. Blessings, blessings.
Good job,
I love you
Dr.
all.
Renee Allen.
Thank you so much. I wish everyone had 20 minutes to speak individually, but
I know.
a lot of information. It was awesome.
If we keep you too long, then you're gonna be scared when next we invite you that will never end on time. And we respect time. Time is something you can never gain back. And I think Peggy said it all. We never have enough time. So we value your time to spending with us, and wait to hear from us again soonest.
Thank you. Thank you. And nice meeting everyone. Take care.
Bye. God bless.
God bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you, Remy, Dr. Remy Duhele.
Bye, my sister, Dr.
Remy.
Rene. You guys rock. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Dr. Remy, Precious wants to know how she can contact you.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if she's still on.
info@legacypremier.org. I don't know if somebody can help me put it in the chat, please. Yeah, thank you. And anyone that needs to reach us can reach us through that. And we promise you will hear back from us. And we're looking for great interns, great volunteers who have a visionary heart. That's who we attract at Legacy Premier Foundation, and we remain family forever. Our internship never ends. It's continuous because we want to build our lives together. So we'll get in touch with you, Precious. Looking forward to connecting with you. Thanks for your comment. I have not been watching the comments. I've been just enjoying everybody, but thank you, Precious, for those kind comments, and to everybody else. And I look forward to your email, especially, Precious. I look forward to that. All right.
We're seeing the responses to Toby's post.
Oh.
Okay, Dr. Dile and team, I'm gonna sign off here. It was amazing working together with you all on this session, and I hope we can work together on more panels, on more events in the future.
Absolutely.
Good
You
to see you
are
again.
part of the family. So we are together forever and ever. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody. And you will get the
Bye.
survey after with our thank you letter. So please complete that so we can get your feedback and know how to better serve you. Thanks for those on Facebook. Thanks for those on YouTube. Those on Zoom, we thank you all. God bless you all and happy International Women's Day to everyone. Blessings.
Thank you. You too. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Looks like we don't want to leave. Bye, bye, bye.